Hello, and welcome to Business Matters, the show about people behind businesses that help make Tacoma a great place to live and work. I'm your host, Mike Wark, and on today's show, we feature the new South Tacoma business specializing in juice and smoothies. Andrew Fry continues on the road to business recovery in his segment on Tacoma Means Business. And today, my guest is Maddie Merton, who's the Vice President for Business and Retention and Expansion for the Economic Development Board for Tacoma and Pierce County. Welcome, Maddie.
Thanks for having me, Mike. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. So tell us about what you do. I know you work for the EDB, the Economic Development Board, which is a nonprofit that supports businesses and industry all across the county. It's a big job, and you focus on supporting those businesses. So what is it that you do?
So I meet with our businesses one-on-one to assist them with any of the challenges they might face with their business and offer potential solutions. So I could be assisting them on a wide range, including how to grow their business, access to financing, access to tax incentives, finding a new location, expanding their business, grants, workforce development, trade and exporting, you name it. We can connect on a variety of issues. So
you're like a consultant.
Correct.
Yeah, and I would imagine that that you provide the service for free.
Absolutely.
Because the EDB here is to help our community thrive, our businesses from big ones to little ones. From international industries to mom and pop stores, to help them be effective here, because it's good for all of us.
Absolutely. And my role is to encourage them to grow and expand and hopefully create more jobs for our community. And that's really, what we're there to help support. And the businesses that I do see, we meet with them on a confidential basis. Right. So it's all one-on-one business support and business services.
And so you're a nonprofit, and it's really cool that the service is provided for free. You have about 200 that you work with throughout the county, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So I see the businesses every year, and they range from different sectors of our economy, from manufacturing, aerospace, healthcare, financial services, to some retail, and also diverse businesses as well. So,
But I would imagine that things like tax incentives or incentives that are available from local governments, there's a whole range of things that if I were a small business person or even a medium-sized business person, having somebody that could help me sort that out would be really valuable.
Yes, and that is something that we provide and I provide on an ongoing basis. A lot of the businesses that are in our community are not aware of all the resources,
right.
So having someone go out there and just share the opportunities and tell them that, hey, their business will qualify. At the end of the day, it'll save them money and potentially help them, grow that business. So
funding sources, funding breaks, but you also do other kinds of consulting. I would imagine the workforce part. I've been hearing about the Great Resignation and that things are evolving post-pandemic, like endemic stage or whatever we call it. That the workforce issues, are those rising in?
It's been the top two concerns, actually number one throughout all of the businesses that I am seeing. I spend, as I'm going out and meeting our clients, we spend the majority of the time talking about workforce.
Is that right?
Correct.
So workforce is one of those terms that has a lot of meanings. And so in this case, it has to do with finding and hiring good employees, right?
And so attracting talent, retaining talent, developing talent. So yes.
Okay. So what kind of advice do you generally find is useful?
So, I really, advise our business clients to, really look at how, they're approaching recruiting and to make sure that they're upping their game for recruiting, just because we're not in the same environment that we were in pre-pandemic. It's a different environment, and the talent that's out there is requiring different things. So, if they're having a hard time recruiting, I advise them to cast a wide net and look at some of the areas that they may not have looked at before, and really just to be more competitive with how they're structuring, the outreach to the community and outreach to other partners that could supply talent to them.
Oh, I see. So, it's very competitive. Yeah,
Yes.
for example, maybe they've done things the way they always have and they're wondering, why isn't it working? I used to work. You might say, you need to enhance your website, or you
Right.
need to go to the Workforce Development Council, or you might need to look at what you're paying because you're not paying what other people, are those examples?
Those are exactly
Yeah.
what. So minimum wage is currently, I think, $14.49 right now for Washington State. So, you definitely have to look at do an analysis of your wages. Are you in line with the market in your sector? If not, could you increase that? What are your benefits? Are they in line with the market? And how are you going out there and drawing the talent in?
And you can help them with that analysis.
Yes, so we have partners such as Workforce Central who can provide the labor market analysis. We also have other workforce partners in our community. We're very blessed in Pierce County to have a wide, diverse workforce partnership that can support our employers.
And those are nonprofits as well, resources that are available.
Yes, so nonprofit and government entities.
Right. Yeah, because the city, we just talked to somebody with the city last week who offered a range of things. It's just there's a wealth of resource out there for business and industry in Pierce County. It's really cool. Are you finding that people are responsive, that it's working when you advise them? They suddenly are finding those employees, or
so they're looking at different. It takes a while for them to get past the we need to change, right?
Yeah.
As far as how they're doing their recruiting, but with some advice and as they meet with more of our partners who's really in there every day talking to candidates and talking to other employers that are facing the same issues, they tend to adopt some of those changes.
Yeah.
So I know that as I go out there, some of the employers have already increased their wages. Some of our sectors have started to offer sign-on bonuses that have never offered sign-on bonuses.
Yeah, we're seeing that a lot.
And some flexibility too. They're offering more flexibility in regards to remote work and some of the things that are attractive.
You're primarily focused on business owners, industry people who work with the personnel in larger corporations and so forth. But if I'm watching the show and I'm thinking about looking for a job, there's an important message here for me, isn't there?
Yes. So, I would say, for our folks that are out there looking for employment, really doing your due diligence on that employer. They are interviewing you, but you're also interviewing, that company for a long-term fit, and just making sure that you go into it with the mindset that this might be the next opportunity for you. So
having confidence that a lot of people are intimidated going into an interview, but reminding them you're kind of in the driver's seat here.
They are in the driver's seat.
A little bit anyway.
They are in the driver's seat, but having a job is also, I think, a privilege as well, right? So, as you grow professionally with your career, they are in the driver's seat, but, finding that right fit, I think, is also important. Culture fit and the employer. So
this is good advice for employers and employees.
Yes.
And really interesting to learn about all you do. So before we go, would you like to talk about any of the other services that you provide, or about what the Economic Development Board does for our community?
Yeah, so the EDB, really is here to support our local business community and also our overall community, encourage job growth and investment. So we've been working on just recruiting new companies and expanding the ones that are already here, and just being there as a resource for our local community. So I'm really honored and proud to have the opportunity to serve in that capacity. It's been really fun to kind of see the ebbs and flow as the cycle.
I was going to use the word fun because you work with CEOs. One day you're with a big company that ships across the world. The next day you're with a small company that's serving their local community.
Yes, and doing plant tours or just going out there and seeing the business itself. It's for me, I enjoy going out there and meeting those business owners in person and seeing what excites them for their business. So it's fun.
And you bring that back to the larger EDB, whose job it is to share a story about Tacoma and Pierce County with the world, to help bring those other businesses here. Say, hey, this is a great place. You get to work with people like Maddie, and also look at all that's happening here.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, fascinating. Well, I'm certainly proud to be here, and hearing about what you do and all of these resources makes me glad that I live and work in Tacoma and Pierce County. So, Maddie, really appreciate you being here today.
Well, thank you, Mike. I really appreciate having the opportunity to come on the show as well.
Coming up, Andrew Fry helps rekindle your business using a few simple steps. On this segment of Tacoma Means Business, Andrew Fry provides some obvious yet critical suggestions on getting your small business churning towards success.
The last time we had a chance to chat, I talked about the idea of rebuilding your small business post-COVID, some things to consider in regards to the actual business operations and aspect of it. What I'd like to talk about today is some things that you might want to consider to rebuilding your customer base, to rekindling the communications and coordination of the people who you work with, who work for you, and who supply you. So first and foremost, get back to your customer list. It's probably a couple years old, in which case you need to go through and see who is still there, who's still interested, who has been your customer even throughout all of this difficulty, and how you might expand it. A good curated customer list, because you need to start rebuilding that again. Second up, your suppliers, the people who provide you the necessary materials for you to conduct your business. We see a lot of restaurants, coffee shops, bakeries, anything in the food services rely on suppliers. And you're going to need to get back to that. Now, maybe your office is a financial office. Maybe your office is a production office. Well, what about your coffee supplier? You're still going to need it. It's still vital to your business. So who are your suppliers, and are they still available? And what kind of terms would they be available for? Third, your employees. Whether it's the employees that stuck with you during this entire time, or perhaps the employees who you unfortunately had to furlough, or maybe found other jobs, or decided they wanted to just stay inside for a while. You need to get back in touch and start that relationship again. It's a new world, so you need to rebuild that company culture around the employees, the employee base, and the hiring of employees, all of those things in consideration. Plus, many different companies and services and products are now doing a little bit of the hybrid side. Some of the advantages that came with discovering new technologies within the last couple of years. Then, the services people. It's not just the suppliers, it's the services, the delivery people, the people who pick up, the people who empty your recycling, the ones who paint your parking lot, all of the folks who provide necessary services for you, whether it's a reception company maybe that you outsource, your accounting services, but get a hold of them as well and bring them into this conversation. And then finally, do an asset inventory. What do you still have? What are the things that remain after 2 years? And has 2 years been too long for some of them? Make sure that the things that you bring in are now fitting the new normal for your employees, for whether it's comfort, whether it's separation, whether it's technology. Do an asset inventory to see if this can all work together. So, real quickly, customers, suppliers, employees, services, and inventory. And that can help you get started to rebuild and grow.
Thanks, Andrew. For more ways to grow your business, check out Tacoma's Community and Economic Development Program at makeittacoma.com. When Business Matters continues, tasty and healthy treats are on the menu at a new South Tacoma business. Welcome back. In this segment, we'll feature Intentions, a juice and smoothie bar with a tantalizing menu that's actually healthy for customers. Organic wellness shots, multi-mix fruit smoothies, and even specialty coffee brews are all part of a rare mix of business and pleasure, with Marquita Evans, who's the owner. Welcome, Marquita.
Thank you for having me today.
So I've already kind of given some highlights, but I'm looking forward to the juicy details. Tell us about your business.
Okay, so we started Intentions right at the base of the pandemic.
Yeah, 2020, right when it started.
2020, right when it started. We had started the process in January, and we hit that pandemic, which
Oh my gosh.
put everything on hold for a little while.
Okay, so it slowed you down a little bit, but you're open now.
Yes.
And you opened in the pandemic.
Yes, we had our grand opening October 17th of 2020, which means we're heading into year 2 now.
Fabulous. So it all came out okay.
Yes.
So people came in.
People came in. I'll say our grand opening was amazing, and it kind of was a slow start. And at the time, it was like me birthing 2 babies because I was at the time pregnant with my daughter.
Oh my gosh.
And so we opened in October, and she was born on Thanksgiving of 2020.
Oh my gosh, you're an amazing multitasker.
Yes. And so we opened, and it was kind of slow, I would say, the first few months. But what we were able to do was bring people in by offering healthy alternatives and, getting people to boost up their immune systems with something healthy.
Oh, taking advantage, leveraging the pandemic.
Yes.
Build up so tell us about your products.
Well, we just switched over to everything is now organic.
Okay.
And so we have all organic fruits and vegetables, as well as fruit smoothies. All of our bases are off of our menu. We make everything other than our non-dairy milks, which we are also non-dairy. So we're vegan, vegetarian, everyone friendly, and kid approved, which to me matters the most.
Oh yes, that's really cool.
We're basically pretty much trying to offer a healthy alternative to fast food.
Okay.
That's my motto as far as what is Intentions, a healthy alternative to fast food, where you can get something filling that it's a guilt-free, where you're actually giving yourself your daily fruit and vitamin or fruit and vegetable intake.
But it also tastes fabulous.
And it tastes amazing.
And yeah, it's good for you. So what are some of your most popular items?
If I go for our juice, our most popular would be our Reset, which is all of your greens, which is the spinach, cucumber, celery, lemon, ginger, and apple.
It's a salad.
It's a salad in a drink.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's
And
good.
we also have our Clarity for juices, which is a beet mix. It's the beet mix that everyone, including myself, who dislikes beets, actually love and enjoy.
No kidding. And those are so good for you. They're so full of vitamins and stuff.
They
right?
are good for your blood pressure. They're good for everything. And because we're used to them just being one way, people don't enjoy beets, including myself. However, Clarity is one of my go-to drinks, especially when I kind of want to get myself riled up and ready for a good day.
It's really interesting. So I know you have smoothies, and we know what those are. They're a little they're a little thicker, right? Yeah. And then you have these smoothie bowls.
Oh, yes.
What is a smoothie bowl?
The smoothie bowl is a thicker smoothie topped with some extra greatness. And so we start your base with whichever fruits you're thinking of. And everything else, I will say this really fast, that all of our items on our menu, you can customize your own.
Okay.
And so we have our favorites listed, but you're able to customize whatever it is that you're looking for.
I don't want that. I do want this.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we don't get upset about that.
Good.
But the smoothie bowls are topped with either fresh fruit, granola. Sometimes you'll get like some hemp hearts or some different nuts, walnuts or almonds, and a little honey drizzle or maple syrup drizzle just to give you a little extra sweetness.
Okay.
And those guys are amazing. We've had them where you can share them. They're a guilt-free indulge.
And you eat them with a spoon.
You eat those with a spoon.
Okay. Well, I can't wait to go. Tell us, where are you located?
We are located 5236 South Tacoma Way,
Right.
which is pretty much on the corner of 54th and South Tacoma Way.
Which is a really cool little area. There.
It is, and it's emerging into a bunch of different small businesses, which is what the community needs at this time.
Right. So community surrounded by entrepreneurs. I'm interested. I mean, we talked about you starting a new business.
Yes.
But I happen to know it's not your first business.
No.
That you're a seasoned entrepreneur.
Yes.
Yeah. So you have the nanny business, right?
I do. I started my nanny service in 2008.
Okay.
And it was because I became a nanny, and my first background was in early childhood education.
Okay.
And once I learned the world of nannying, I found the niche in it, which was event childcare. And what we do is when people are having weddings or corporate events and they don't want the kids to interfere, that's where we come in. We come on site
No
and
kidding.
we provide the childcare.
That's really cool.
Yes.
And so you have clientele who are Seahawks and Kraken?
Yes, we have some pretty awesome clientele.
I would say so.
As well as just anyone who needs date nights. We were providing a bunch of date night services or overnight services for people who had weird schedules and just needed assistance with childcare.
And you still offer this?
I do still offer
and the
this.
name of the business is?
A-List Nanny Services.
A-List.
Yes, my office is based in Renton there. However, I work from my office in Tacoma now. And yes, we're available for any childcare needs with our specialty being for events.
And by A-List, it sounds like, and what I've heard is it is definitely a good name because it's great service.
Yes.
People should look you up.
Yes, they really should.
Okay, so you had a successful business. You're doing this nannying. You also had a job as
A surgical tech.
Surgical tech. That's intense.
Yes.
And then you have this entrepreneurial thing that flows through all of this that led you to a juice bar. What is it? What does it take to? How does that thinking process go? Where you go from I'm doing this to I can make a business out of this.
I think it's the part where you want the most flexibility of your life. And we say flexibility only to lose all of the flexibility in your life.
Yeah, because you think I'll have the flexibility, but then you have the demands of the work.
Yes.
Right.
But the basis of it is it's a little different when you're doing it for yourself. It adds an additional commitment where I don't get to call in sick. Right. I am the call in sick person when someone calls in.
You.
I'm the one to fill in the position. It comes with a great deal of responsibility. However, it comes with this other freedom, knowing that the end result is rewarding for you and that you're able to walk away knowing that what you're doing is impacting others as well as impacting yourself. And I think that's the part where it gives me the fulfillment, where I know all of the work that I do, whether it's you're coming into the juice bar for a healthy fix or to stick to your goals, or if you're coming to the nanny service, I'm helping with a need. And one of my models for myself is being inspired to serve. And it goes on a multitude of levels. So it's to serve my community, to serve my family, and to serve those I encounter.
That's fabulous.
Thank you.
Do you have advice for somebody who's thinking about starting their own business?
I do. I would say that the best advice would be to make sure you do your research and make sure you're doing something you love so that it does not feel like it's a job. When you do that, then you can wake up and even on the worst day ever, you're still inspired to do this because it's what you want to do and not to do it for the money because that definitely does not come immediately.
Yeah, right.
It has to be a passion. And I think that's sometimes where people fail. They're not doing something because it's what their heart is into. They're looking at what the fast fix of money is. But being an entrepreneur is being prepared to build from the bottom up, being prepared for no's and knowing that even in those no's, their proper yeses arrive.
You find them.
You do.
But you have to be persistent and strategic. And I would imagine you have to tap into resources out there.
You do. And that's one of the things that I've had to learn recently. With starting Intentions, it was a lot different than starting a service because you don't really have to put anything out for that. And so as we're coming into starting our second location, I'm actually having to tap into resources because we're not just in one place and I can't be in two places at once. And so we're tapping into resources and making sure we have the right people in the right positions to help build the brand. And a lot of times we have a hard time asking for help, but being an entrepreneur, you have to ask for help.
And you're offering that to other businesses now. So a sign of success, you're starting a new business location in Seattle in a big condo serving that population. But you're also inviting other businesses in and highlighting their products in your store.
Yes.
So reaching out and having that coexistent environment.
Yes, one of the things I had asked for years ago was to have entrepreneurial friends. And in that, I've built this circle. We started with just offering our walls. We have a lot of wall space, and I didn't want to get bored with seeing what was on the wall. So we invited local artists to come hang their pieces inside of Intentions, and people are able to purchase them. And so we've had artists who've sold out twice.
That's amazing.
In 1 month from their art. And so we're building community by that, or allowing other small business owners to display their products on our retail shelves. So you can come into Intentions and currently support 4 other small businesses.
So that's one, people interested in supporting small business, and that's important.
Yes.
In this community, it's important to support small businesses. And in this case, supporting a small business is amazing because it tastes good. And it's good for me, right?
Yes.
And I can find really cool art and other things.
Yes.
Marquita, I could go on talking about this forever, but I have to go get a drink at Smoothie Place.
Yes.
At Intentions.
Please and thank you, and we will have that ready for you.
Marvelous. Thank you for being our guest on Business Matters.
Of course. Thank you for having me. It was great to be here today.
That's it for Business Matters. Join me next time for more insight into the business community in Tacoma.